Hi, this is Manoj Phillip with ManojSellsHomes.com, and today I'll be answering a very common question, and that is, do realtors persuade buyers to buy more expensive homes in order to earn more commission? Let me answer that for you. According to our Realtor Code of Ethics, we cannot persuade, influence, or manipulate a buyer into buying a more expensive home just so we can earn more commission. Are there realtors who might do that? Possibly. I don't do that, and neither do any of my colleagues. But that still leaves a really important question. Do we as realtors get paid more money if you buy a more expensive home? And the answer is also possibly. I'll share an example of how that might happen, but more importantly, I'll share why it's not a factor in how we serve you and how we treat you. Let me first start out by saying that there's no standard commission or compensation in the real estate industry. Secondly, compensation goes to the broker. The broker is the company that the realtor works for. It's the legal entity that's actually representing the buyer in the purchase of a property or a home. The broker I work for is Keller Williams Realty Wilmington. So even though I might be the actual person who's helping you buy a home, I'm the one who is showing you the properties or showing you the homes, I'm helping you write the offer, etc. Even though I'm the physical person helping you, the company and the legal entity that's representing you is really the broker. And in my case, it's Keller Williams Realty Wilmington, okay? So compensation goes to the broker. Lastly, this is just an example, it's just an illustration. Okay, let's pretend there are two homes that a buyer likes. Both of these homes fit the buyer's wants and needs, and they would be happy with either home. So let's go through this example. Let's pretend that house A is $180,000 and the buyer is going to write an offer for $180,000, okay? So we're assuming that the buyer is paying full price for both of these homes. For this house, the compensation to the broker, again, the broker is the one getting compensated, not the realtor, okay? So the compensation to the broker is 2.5% of $180,000. So in this case, the broker would receive $4,500, okay? So the broker would receive 2.5% of $180,000, or in other words, $4,500. But if the buyer were to buy a $195,000 home, and assuming the compensation to the broker is the same, okay, 2.5%, then the broker in this case would receive $4,875, okay? So the difference in compensation to the broker is $375, okay? So even though the buyer is buying a home that's $15,000 more expensive, the broker is only getting an additional $375. So that is virtually insignificant in the grand scheme of things. That's not enough to make a broker act in a way that's not in your best interests, okay? But on top of that, you might be wondering, well, Manoj, you still are getting paid an additional almost $400. I mean, that means something, right? Well, let me explain what happens to that $375. Remember, compensation is going to the broker because the broker is the legal entity that's really representing you in the purchase of the home. I'm the realtor that represents the broker, but the broker is the company that's actually representing you. In this case, my broker, again, is Keller Williams Realty Wilmington. So the broker in this case is getting an additional $375, but I don't get the $375. So the broker takes a portion of that $375 for themselves because I am using their name, I'm using their office space, I'm under their insurance policy. And so even though the difference in compensation between these two homes is $375, that's $375 for the broker, okay? The broker will take a portion of it, so meaning I'm paying the broker a piece of that $375, okay? So they take a cut, and then out of what's left, I have to pay my own marketing expenses and business expenses, and then I also have to pay my own taxes. So even though the buyer might be buying a house that's $15,000 more expensive, my compensation, the difference in compensation for me, meaning the extra amount of money that I earn, that I get to keep and I get to deposit into my own bank account, is only $100 or $200 based on tax brackets and expenses. So even though the buyer is buying a home that's $15,000 more expensive, the broker is only getting an additional $375 of compensation, and me as the realtor, I'm only getting even less than that in additional compensation. I'm only getting maybe $100 or $200 because I have to pay these expenses. So in the grand scheme of things, that is not a lot of money. And so it's virtually insignificant in the grand scheme of things. So that is proof that we as realtors are not factoring in the price when we are recommending a house to you, okay? If we are recommending a house, it's because we truly believe that house is the best fit for you based on what you told us you wanted and needed, or what you said, or the features you said you wanted in a home. But it's not because we're getting paid more money, because in this example, our net pay difference between these two homes would only be $100 or $200, because again, the broker is getting an additional $375 if you buy this house versus that house. Excuse me, but we as a realtor, we're getting even less than that because we have to pay different expenses. So the difference in our net pay might only be $100 or $200 depending on the realtor's individual tax bracket or expenses. So that's why the price of the home is just not a factor in how we serve you and how we treat you and how we honor your business. We just don't think about the purchase price because it's just not a factor in how we serve you. And this is proof because the difference in compensation is only a few $100s. And so you can rest assured that we really are serving you to the highest and best of our ability. And we are not thinking about, oh, well, if they buy this house, we're going to get paid more money. Because you can see in this example, it's only an additional $100 or $200 after all the expenses are taken out. And not to sound full of myself or anything, but I can live without an extra $100 or $200. It's just not a factor in how I serve you as the client. So you can rest assured that when a realtor is recommending a house, it's not because they're going to get paid more money. They are truly recommending the house because they believe it's the right fit for you, okay? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Manoj, it's different when the difference is only $15,000. What if it's a difference between a $180,000 house and a $480,000 house? Well, I'm glad you asked that. Number one, the average buyer is not looking at a $180,000 house as well as a $480,000 house, okay? Buyers do not look at homes with such a disparity in price, okay? They're looking at homes that are around the same price range. So if you're looking at a $180,000 house, then you're also looking at homes that are at $170,000, $190,000, $195,000, maybe $200,000, but you're not looking at a $180,000 house and also a $480,000 house. That's just not how it works. But let's pretend that you really are looking at homes with a huge difference in price, where you are looking at a $180,000 house and also a $480,000 house. Well, there's no way that those homes are similar, okay? There's no way that a $180,000 house has the same features and benefits as a $480,000 house. So if the realtor is recommending the $480,000 house, then it's truly because they feel that it's a better fit for you based on what you told them you wanted or needed. So again, the price of the home is just not a factor in how a realtor serves you and takes care of you, okay? We don't think about the price. We're not worried about the price. We're not thinking about the additional compensation. If we are, if we're talking up a property or downplaying another property, it's not because of the difference in compensation. It's based on what you told us you wanted and needed, and based on our analysis, we are recommending one property versus another. And so it's not because we're getting paid more. That's just not a factor in how we serve you. We do not serve you based on price or based on compensation. We're serving you at the highest and best level to the best of our abilities, and we are recommending homes based on what you told us you wanted. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question. If you have other questions, then please drop them in the comments below, or you can visit my website at menagesellshomes.com, and you'll find multiple ways in which you can reach me, and you can submit your questions there, and I will answer them in future videos. Thank you so much.